Hello and welcome to Read and Learn English. Today's story is about a man who wanted success very fast, but learned a painful lesson about life. This story will help you improve your English through simple words, real emotions, and meaningful ideas. Listen carefully and try to feel every moment. Now let me tell you my story. My name is Vikram, and I work as a junior project manager in a small technology company. I am known as someone who moves fast, speaks confidently, and always looks for the easiest way to finish a task. To be honest, I never liked slow progress. I always believed that success should come quickly, like a reward for being smart, not for working too hard. Even when I was a student, I didn't enjoy studying deeply. I remember copying homework from my classmates and finding answers online instead of thinking on my own. While others spent hours learning, I spent minutes finishing tasks. And somehow, I still got good grades. That made me believe I was doing the right thing. In college, nothing really changed. Group projects became my favorite because I could depend on others. I would talk well during presentations, and people thought I was talented. But inside, I knew I was skipping important steps. Still, I didn't care. I was getting results, and that was enough for me. When I got my first job, I felt proud. I told myself, "See? You don't need to struggle like others." At work, I continued the same habits. I avoided complex tasks and focused only on what could be done quickly. If there was a shortcut, I would find it. If there was an easier way, I would take it. At first, everything went well. My manager liked my speed. My team members respected my confidence. I even received praise for completing tasks faster than expected. Each success made me believe more strongly that shortcuts were the secret to winning in life. But slowly, small problems started to appear. One day, a colleague asked me a simple technical question. I smiled, but I didn't know the answer. I tried to change the topic. Another time, I had to fix an issue in a report, but I didn't understand the details. I stayed late, feeling confused and frustrated. Still, I ignored these signs. I told myself, "It's not important. Just keep moving forward." Then something happened that changed everything. One morning, my manager called me into his office. His face was serious, but his voice was calm. He said, "Vikram, we have a big project coming. It's important for the company. I want you to lead it." For a moment, I felt excited. This was my chance to prove myself. A big project meant a big opportunity. I smiled and said, "Of course, sir, I can handle it." But as I walked out of his office, something felt different. This project was not like the others. It required planning, deep understanding, and strong decision-making. It was not something I could finish quickly or avoid thinking about. For the first time in my life, I felt a small fear inside me. That evening, I opened the project files and started reading. The information was complex. The details were deep. My mind felt slow, like it was not ready for this kind of work. I leaned back in my chair and whispered to myself, "There must be a shortcut for this." But deep inside, I had a strange feeling. What if this time, there was no shortcut at all? The next morning, I walked into the office with a forced smile, but my mind was heavy. I told myself to stay calm. "You've handled everything before," I whispered. "This is just another task." But deep inside, I knew this was different. This project was not something I could complete with quick tricks or smooth talk. I started by calling a team meeting. Everyone looked at me with expectation. I stood there, trying to sound confident. We will finish this project on time, I said. Let's keep things simple and fast. A few people nodded, but I noticed one of my teammates, Ria, looking at me carefully. She didn't say anything, but her eyes felt like a question. After the meeting, I sat at my desk and opened the files again. I tried to understand the requirements, but the more I read, the more confused I felt. There were technical terms I had never truly learned, processes I had always skipped, and decisions that needed real knowledge. My head started to hurt. Instead of facing the problem, I did what I always did. I looked for a shortcut. I searched online for ready-made templates. I copied parts from old projects. I asked others for quick help without telling them the full situation. For a few days, it felt like things were moving. I created reports, sent emails, and gave updates to my manager. Everything looked fine on the surface, but inside, the project was weak. One afternoon, Ria came to my desk. She spoke softly. "Vikram, can we talk about the project plan?" "Of course," I said quickly, trying to hide my nervousness. She pointed at my document and said, "Some parts don't connect, and I think we are missing important steps." I laughed lightly. "Don't worry, I have handled it." She didn't smile. "Are you sure? This project is not simple." Her words made me uncomfortable. I felt a small anger inside me. "I know what I'm doing," I replied. "Just follow the plan." She nodded slowly, but I could see doubt in her eyes. As days passed, the pressure increased. Deadlines were coming closer. My manager started asking deeper questions during meetings. "Why did you choose this method?" he asked one day. I gave a quick answer, but he didn't look convinced. At night, I stayed late in the office, staring at my screen. The numbers didn't make sense. The plan had gaps. I tried to fix things, but I didn't know how. For the first time, I felt lost. One evening, I called an old college friend, Arjun. He was always hardworking, the opposite of me. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "Can you help me with something?" He listened quietly as I explained a small part of the project. Then he asked, "Do you understand the full system?" I stayed silent for a moment. "Not really," I admitted. He sighed. "Vikram, this is serious work. You can't just patch things together. You need to understand it from the base." His words hit me hard, but I didn't want to accept them. "I don't have time for that," I said. "I just need a quick solution." "There is no quick solution," he replied firmly. After the call, I sat alone in the dark office. His words kept repeating in my mind. Still, I continued the same way. I pushed the team to move faster. I ignored their questions. I avoided deep discussions. I focused only on finishing something, anything before the deadline. But the more I rushed, the more problems appeared. Small errors turned into big issues. Team members became confused. Communication broke down. I could feel everything slipping out of control. And then, one morning, my manager sent me a message. "Vikram, we need to review the full project today. Be prepared." My hands became cold. For the first time, I realized the truth. I was not prepared at all, and this time, I couldn't hide it. That morning, I could feel my heart beating faster than usual. My hands were slightly shaking as I opened my laptop. The message from my manager kept echoing in my mind. Be prepared. But I wasn't. Not even close. The meeting room felt colder than normal. My team was already there, sitting quietly. No one was smiling. I could feel the tension in the air. When my manager walked in, he looked serious. He sat down, looked at me, and said, Vikram, let's begin. I stood up and started presenting. My voice sounded confident at first, but inside, I was nervous. I moved quickly through the slides, explaining things without going too deep. I hoped no one would ask difficult questions, but that hope didn't last long. My manager raised his hand. "Can you explain this section in detail?" he asked, pointing at one part of the plan. I paused. My mind went blank. I tried to remember what I had written, but it didn't make sense even to me. This is based on previous data," I said slowly. "Which data?" he asked. I couldn't answer. The room became silent. I felt everyone's eyes on me. My confidence started to break. Then Ria spoke. Her voice was calm, but clear. "Sir, I think this part needs more work. We don't have enough information to support it." My manager looked at her, then back at me. "Is that true, Vikram?" I swallowed hard. I was planning to update it." He leaned back in his chair, his expression changing. "Planning? The deadline is very close. This should already be clear." I tried to continue the presentation, but things only got worse. More questions came, simple questions, but I didn't have clear answers. Every response I gave sounded weak, incomplete, or confusing. Finally, my manager closed the file and looked directly at me. "Vikram," he said, his voice firm now, "do you truly understand this project?" That question hit me like a heavy weight. For a moment, I thought about lying again. I had done it many times before. Just say yes. Just act confident. Just move forward. But something inside me stopped. I looked down at the table. My voice became quiet. "No, sir," I said. The words felt painful, but also real. "I don't fully understand it." The room stayed silent. I could feel my face getting warm with embarrassment. My manager took a deep breath. "I trusted you with this responsibility," he said. "This project is important, but right now it's weak, very weak." Each word felt like a sharp cut. He continued, "You move fast, Vikram. That's true. But speed without understanding leads to failure." I had no reply. The meeting ended with disappointment. The project was officially marked as failed. Another team would take over and try to fix it. I was removed as the leader. As everyone left the room, I stayed in my chair. I couldn't move. I felt empty. Ria stopped near me. For a moment, I thought she would say something harsh. But she didn't. She just said softly, "You're not a bad person, Vikram, but you avoided learning." Then she walked away. That sentence stayed with me. I avoided learning. Later that day, I sat alone at my desk. For the first time in years, I didn't try to find a shortcut. I didn't try to escape the situation. Instead, I looked at myself honestly. All those years, I thought I was smart. I thought I was winning. But in reality, I had been building my success on something weak. Very weak. Tears slowly filled my eyes, but I didn't stop them. Because for the first time, I understood something important. I was not just facing failure, I was facing the truth. And it was much harder than I ever imagined. That evening, I didn't go home immediately. I stayed at my desk, staring at the same screen. But this time, I wasn't trying to fix anything. I was thinking. For the first time in many years, I allowed myself to feel the full weight of my mistakes. I remembered every shortcut I had taken, every moment I had avoided learning, every time I chose speed over understanding. It all led me here. The next day, I walked into my manager's office. My heart was still heavy, but my mind felt clearer. "Sir," I said quietly, "I know I failed, but I want to learn. I want to start again." He looked at me for a moment, surprised. Then he nodded slowly. "If you are serious, it will take time," he said. "No shortcuts." "I understand," I replied. And that was the beginning of a new journey. At first, it was difficult. I had to study things I had ignored for years. Simple concepts felt hard. I asked questions, many questions. Sometimes people were surprised. Sometimes I felt embarrassed. But I didn't stop. Ria noticed the change. One day, she came to me and said, "You're different now." I smiled a little. "I'm trying to be better." She nodded. "That's a good start." Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. I stayed late, not to hide my weaknesses, but to improve them. I read, practiced, and slowly began to understand my work. It was not fast. It was not easy, but it felt real. One day, my manager gave me a small task. "Handle this carefully," he said. This time, I didn't rush. I took my time. I checked every detail. I asked for feedback. When I finally completed it, he looked satisfied. "Good work," he said. Those 2 words meant more to me than all my past praise. Years passed. I grew slowly, step by step. People started trusting me again, not because I was fast, but because I was reliable. I was no longer looking for shortcuts. I was building something strong. And now, when I look back, I understand the truth. Shortcuts may give quick results, but they cannot build real strength. Only patience, effort, and learning can do that. That failure, it didn't destroy me, it saved me. Now, it's time to learn some useful vocabulary from the story. Shortcut means a faster or easier way to do something, often skipping important steps. Overrated means something is not as good or important as people say. Confident means feeling sure about yourself and your abilities. Avoid means to stay away from something or not do it. Complex means something that is not simple and is difficult to understand. Deadline means the time by which something must be finished. Frustrated means feeling upset because something is not working. Responsibility means a duty or task that you must complete. Failure means not succeeding in something. Embarrassed means feeling ashamed or uncomfortable in front of others. Reliable means someone others can trust and depend on. Effort means trying hard to do something. Improve means to get better at something. Journey means a process of change or development over time. Try to use these words in your daily life. It will help you remember them better. Now, it's time for shadowing practice. Listen and repeat after me. I wanted success too fast. I looked for easy ways. I avoided learning. I was not prepared. I faced the truth. I decided to change. I started from the beginning. It was slow but real. I kept going every day. I became stronger. Repeat these sentences again and again. This will help your pronunciation and confidence. Thank you so much for listening to this story. Now, I have some simple questions for you. Have you ever taken a shortcut in life? What did you learn from your mistake? Do you believe slow progress is better than fast success? Write your answers in the comments. I would love to read them. See you next time. Keep learning, keep growing.